Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another Last Epoch dev stream. As usual, I'm your host, Mike. Hello, how's it going? Oh, deep breath here. How are we doing? Feeling good. Season 4 is out. Usual stream starting stuff out of the way. We stream for charity. Charity's above my head right there. If you have a question, I would love to answer it. Please put at Last Epoch Game in chat with your question so it gets funneled over to me in a little question document so I know to answer it. That's about it. I'm gonna play some Rogue. I'm very pleased to say that I am playing my favorite class archetype is Bow. I started playing the season start. And then I'm like, you know what? I kind of want, like, I started this character. I'm like, I'm jumping right into my Bow Rogue. It's going to be awesome. And then I thought, I'm going to let's play with a couple buddies, having a ton of fun. And I decided to put the build on hold and wait to do it mostly on stream. Because I wanted to have the progression of like early character through like finishing and hopefully defeating Abaroth. We'll see on like a naive character. And so I paused this one, I went and played something else, and so now we're coming back to this. This character we're hopping in. I played like the morning and a little bit of the afternoon with this character, and so we're still pretty early in the process. We're in early monolith. We've got 2 monoliths finished. We're just taking it slow on a 3rd one right now. We've done the campaign, so that's done. You're not going to watch me fumble through the campaign on stream. But yeah, let's dive right in. That's some fun. Happy Friday. Feeling good. Oh, the VFX for this got tuned down a lot. Okay, so we are playing Shadowrend. We're playing Bow Shadowrend, which I've been really trying to I haven't been looking at build guides that people have been putting out, and I knew that this would be a low popularity build to go with. And we're doing it anyways. We're having some fun with it. We're gonna try and we're struggling with mana a little bit, and so we're temporarily using Puncture as like a mana generator if we need to do something free to get mana back. But the goal is to eventually go into multi-shot triggering with Shadow Massacre here on Shadowrend. We'll see how it works. I think we're gonna need some way to generate mana back to do that. But until then, we're using Smoke Bomb to generate mana for us. Wherever Smoke Bomb generates mana for us, I can't remember. Is it in here? There's a way Smoke Bomb generates mana for us with Shadowrend. I can't remember what it is. Because it's been a week since I played this character. I'm very pleased to be playing it again. We're back in our wheelhouse. Let's ask some questions. That's some fun. I'm really interested to hear what people are thinking about the season so far. If you're enjoying it, I've been reading tons of stuff online. Overall, it sounds like it's been going really well, which is great. I love this new ballista cosmetic. By the way, I didn't actually know this was going in until I started playing. Until I was setting up the stream today. I hadn't seen it yet. And I'm like, I guess I should equip some cosmetics for the stream, and saw it was there. I'm like, yes, please. That's what I get for not paying attention to the cosmetics channel internally. And we are still pretty squishy. Trying to keep moving here. Here we go. Orbs. Corruption. We've got to figure. I got a sweet early corruption on this, and I've just been like having a tough time replacing it in general. But I know there's so much better stuff out there. All right, do you think non-reforged sets getting corrupted affixes is a possibility in the future, or are you firm on them not getting any affixes? I think that we're right now, I don't know how to pronounce this. How do I phrase this? I really love set items getting different ways that they can be functional. I think that the base functionality for a base set item is very much a, like, I'm playing through the campaign and I'm getting these set items and they're cool and they're fun and they're interesting in that situation. Like new player playing through the game. I think that with the last couple updates we've done to set items, we're really positioning the end game set item functionality, or the end, like where set items fit into end game specifically as reforged versions. I think that's sort of the thing that's being pushed for them. And so I think that the like corrupting getting fresh affixes as an end game mechanic for set items really feels like a it really feels like a reforged mechanic interaction rather than a base version interaction. It's also part of the reason why we didn't put legendary affixes on them in the first place as well was because of the bloat of the text that can appear on them, which is a little crazy anyways. Now, one of the upsides though is that we are looking at updating, like kind of overhauling how the tooltips for items in general work. So like the way they look, the way they're laid out, the way they're displayed, the way the information gets shown. Like the, do I have a good example of like a legendary and corrupted? My gear is not fantastic right now. Oh, these were tragic. Okay, I'll get to these in a second. I think with the update in the tooltips, there'll be less pressure from a UI standpoint to not do things like that. So I could see that being opened up more. But that's a discussion that we haven't had yet. So see what happens there. These, so I'm going Merchant's Guild this time, which you may see on the screen. And like everyone I'm sure has a story like this already, which is great. I love it. And so I bought these. It was like 21 Weaver's Will or something on there, 22 Weaver's Will, something like that. And they rolled so perfectly. Like it had T7 crit, it had T6 health, it had dexterity, I think. It had something else like a resistance stat or something. I can't remember what the last thing was. But like it was all 4 useful stats, so well rolled, so perfect. Like the distribution was amazing. And then I go to corrupted, it just drops all of it. It was such a roller coaster of emotions. And I'm excited to try the next one because of it. Submit. Ooh, okay, we can't stand in that even for a second. Not even for a second. That's okay. Do you like the UI update there? Are you adding achievements to the season 5 release? I don't know. I know, so achievements are one of those things that kind of have to be there for a console release. So they are being worked on. I don't know when they'll be ready or not. So I think it's as soon as they're available, we'd love to have them. And once we have a time where they are available, they'll go in. I don't know if that's going to be season 5 or not. We're also really focusing. I'm not going to be able to answer many like, will season 5 have XYZ? If it's not on the roadmap, I can't really say yes to it, sort of thing right now. Just because it is, we're right as season 4 is coming out. So focusing on that. Having an absolute blast with season 4. Thank you. Awesome. The base game is starting to get very full. Do you think you'll start doing more temporary seasonal content to avoid bloat? I think it's starting to become an option. I doubt we'll do much of it, if any of it, before LEO. I'd be really surprised if we did any in season 5, basically. But you know, it's still a possibility. I don't want to say no for sure. Knowing what the season 5 primary mechanic is, it's the sort of thing that I wouldn't want to see as temporary. But yeah, we are starting to get I think we're starting to get to that point where we have a healthy base of mechanics. Like we've got, what is it, 6 pepper mechanics that can happen. So there's Nemesis, there's mages, there's Rift Beasts, there's Omen Windows, there's I guess I'm kind of looping the chests in with those. And like if you push the definition a little bit, there's sort of the shrines, and that's the locations for these. That's the shrine system is what built the locations for these spawning, and they all use the same system. Not really much here for us. We're just gonna reroll that. But yeah, I think as we get to the point where there's like, yeah, that 6 like actual real mechanical things that can happen peppered into them. The tombs, that's what I'm forgetting. That's sort of the point where there's enough things to keep track of that I'd like to start seeing them. I think because your character is using the abilities that Shadowrend use, it's probably using the use location as your character, not the Shadowrend's location, not the Shadow's location. So it's probably not counting as distant, or probably is counting as distant for those things. I need to get into range. Okay. We need to get tankier. It needs to happen. We just need to be better. Yeah, better. Are there plans to make endgame activities outside of monos that have exclusive itemization for that content? So, as an example, Legendary Duck Pond. You have to go there. Thank you. I'll leave that in a second. You have to go there to get Beaks of Power, which can be used in crafting, but you have to farm the Legendary Potential area for them. Legendary Pond area for them. Like specific rewards of items that come from. Yeah, I mean, we kind of do that. Not really. Like dungeons have specific things that come from them, so there's like specific items that come from dungeons that you can only get from doing the dungeons. That's like the actual base items, not necessarily the like. I guess this is the difference between like a helmet coming from the. Oh, that's weird. Load. Oh well, it's in game. It's all that matters. I like the mismatch stuff. Interesting, right? So the difference between like a helmet coming from a dungeon and a specific resource coming from a dungeon, or a specific crafting material coming from the dungeon. Yeah. Got pointed. Put points on. What are we going here? What's we doing? Armor shred? Crit multi? Crit multi. We're gonna do this and get rid of this armor here. The same. Yeah, I do. I like that idea in general. What am I talking about? I do like that idea. I think that there's room for more mechanics to come into play outside of the monolith. I think the monolith is getting to the point where it is beefy enough to sort of not need every single seasonal mechanic to focus around it. I think the core improvements to the monolith right now need to be just like in how the gameplay, the moment-to-moment gameplay of each echo plays out inside each monolith. That's like the most important upgrades that can happen to the monolith right now. I think there's lots of little things that happen in this season that are helping that a lot. Like just the way the bonus stability is laid out, having these breakpoints for like extra things. Like it's a very small change, but I think it has a pretty significant impact on the quality of like the general gameplay in here. Just that incentive structure changing a little bit. Shoot at the bad guy, Mike. They're pointing the way for you. We got more. I've missed the last one too. Check. We got Raiding Party. Thank you, Lang, for the Raiding Party. Welcome everyone there. And Master Sword for the resub. 59. That's getting dangerously close to 60. Very cool. Thank you very much. Said, die. Like, let's go kill a couple more. Let's get this bonus. Pretty close to it. Why not? And the map overlay. Yeah. Oh, that change is so nice. Ooh, and a goblin? A lizard? There we go. Get out of here. Yep, T's portal, not G, Mike. Got the sweet game guide. Just want to show you the game guide. Make sure you know that it's there. Mike, have you guys ever considered T4 jeweler being able to lock in your choice for T2? Yes, and being able to lock out a choice. Yes. Yeah, we've considered having different ranges of tiers of jeweler do different things. The big change I like to see there is having the and this is kind of it's sort of unrelated, but having the tier 1 version of it be a little bit different, where it doesn't require a key, and instead of dropping items that can be forged in like a legendary potential item with a exalted item to match, the tier 1 version instead, just like having random drops, but then the forge itself is just there with a forged item in it. And like, it's probably not going to be good for your character or whatever, but like, you don't get to use the forge on a T1 character at all, but because it doesn't require a key, you can use it as just like a natural campaign traversal instead of the this is a suggestion I see all the time online, and I like it. Yeah, giving more options to Julra is interesting. It is, it's that little bit of crafting power creep, that happens. I think it would have to be accompanied by, if we were going to do something like that, I think it would have to be accompanied by a difficulty increase, and B, a decrease in like certain items having maximum potential. I think would have to be included in that. If that makes any sense. So I think certain items would need to be like max T3, max T2, in order for that type of system to work properly. To have like either a lock in the second one or a lock out a mod as well. Because lock in a second and lock out a mod, they both do effectively the same thing. They just increase your odds at getting the exact outcome you want, but it's a different way that it does it for different legendary potential maximums. So like at LP2, lock in a second one is just you get exactly what you want every single time. But at LP3, it's lock out one is get what you want every single time. So it's at LP2 and LP3, they're different things. And figuring out if we were going to do either one of those things, or having each one be an option, I guess, it kind of just sets up a different breakpoint of get exactly what you want. And that might be a good thing. I don't know. I think if we do that, we have to reduce the drop rates, reduce the LP rates, reduce like that's the other decreases that go along with it to balance that out. Because otherwise, it's just like, or it's instead of power creep, it's power sprinting. Okay. I was looking at the questions and I'm like, there's only like a couple questions here, and there's like a picture in one of the questions that's like blocking off of like big chunks. So I'm not actually. Not actually as caught up as I thought. It's good though. Oh no. This is one thing I do like about having pet builds, is that I can take a second and the pet will at least like play sentry for me. Good afternoon, Mike. Good afternoon. Congrats on the Team Season 4 rollout. Thank you. How do you / the team feel about the imprint nerf? Do you all feel like it was too far? Not far enough, just right. My honest opinion, I think it went a tad too far, but I want to hear from you and the team think. I think that it was, we added in a ton of power. Whether it's too far or not, I'm not really sure. I think it is somewhere close to just right, and it could be on either side of just right. I don't know which side it is, if it is, but I think it's close. I think the feedback has been very clearly suggesting that most of the community think it was too far. But I think that just about any nerf to a system that is people are used to getting a lot of items from is difficult to swallow in general. So I don't know if there's a world where like any amount of nerf that was actually noticeable wouldn't have been at least some subset of people being like suggesting it was too far. And that's not to invalidate the feedback at all. I think that we added in a lot of player power through items this season. Like this is probably the biggest chunk of item power increase we've done in a very long time. Probably since like adding exalted items in the first place. And I think that's a good thing that there's a lot of player power coming from items in general. I think that's a trend we'd like to continue, is that player power coming from items is really good, because one feedback we've had a lot, and especially in season 1 and season 2, is that there was way too much power coming from like just player skills. Like you can do Aberoth naked sort of thing as like there was a couple builds that can do that sort of thing in the early days, and avoiding that is good. So getting player power from items is good. I think that the way you acquire items being varied is really important. So having multiple sources where you're like, hey, this is like different activities I like to do, different things I like to go out and do to find different items, is really a positive thing. And I think imprinting was just taking too much of the focus for finding items away from other sources. And it was easy. It was too easy. Just like my character said there, to get exactly what you were looking for. And like I don't think I was going especially hard last league, and I had like 10 red rings or something. And like I pulled it out of the imprint slots, I think, at some point, because I was like, this is just too much. I could see like maybe a little bit more, but maybe a little bit like maybe an extra slot at a similar rate or something like that triggers a different way. If we were going to increase it, that's sort of the way I'd want to look at doing the increase. I'm not sure it's necessary. I really doubt we'll see an increase this season. If we do change it at all, I doubt it'll be this season. I'd be pretty surprised. I'm not doing the balance for this season, so I don't know. Oh, last time I thought game was going down, but I still try season 4 and it's so good. Glad to hear it. I'm happy the game is doing great. Good job. Thank you. Will it ever be possible to get a clearer picture of how damage and stats interact between our talent tree, our gear, and the skill tree? Yes, this is something we're working on. And it is tricky. There's so many systems that have kind of been like built on top of each other, and because there's so many abilities that interact in weird ways, and the way that they actually happen. So like, how do I give this an example? The way that a like frenzy totem grants you grants things around it frenzy and other buffs through its totem buffs is completely different to the way that it's not a great example, but the only one I can think of right off the top of my head is when you like Ballista gains frenzy. This is like, while you're standing next to your Ballista, you give it frenzy, and while you're standing next to your frenzy tone, the frenzy tone gives you frenzy. Those two ways it's detecting if you're like in range and gaining frenzy or not are completely different. And like the way that Maelstrom deals damage to the things around it compared to the way that like Aura of Decay deals damage to the things around it, completely different from each other. And so like detecting all of those exact ways of dealing damage and getting accurate pictures of how it's going to line up and everything is really a complex mishmash of things that like kind of the only way to do it accurately is like run a simulation for it and see what happens. And setting up like an artificial simulation to run for like tooltips or for stuff like that is not really feasible. So we've set up sort of approximately like the way that the tooltips work is that each skill has a functionality for and specific function for estimating the DPS of that ability based on all the things you've taken. And lots of the things that it can do that it checks for are just literally estimations. They're just sort of grabbing a die here, Mike. Sweet. It's sort of it's trying to just figure out, okay, if you've got split and it's now shooting out 3 shots instead of 1, like it's trying to guess how many of those are hitting, sort of thing, and it's guessing what it's going to actually do as far as damage differences. Or sometimes it's just always assuming single target DPS, things like that. Oh. We are a project that we've been sort of like talking about vaguely, and it keeps getting reminded to us. I'll head this off at the pass here is reworking the character sheet in general. And part of that character sheet rework that we've been talking about and designing and laying out is getting all the stats for a skill laid out in a text form. So instead of necessarily having all those things calculate into how much damage it's actually going to do accurately, just having the what's going to affect this displayed in a separate window being available. And like it was a tiny little change to help that this season, not a huge thing at all. But I think it helps a little bit. Don't even know where it is. This? Yeah, so now when you look through, you can see the things you actually have, and it doesn't show the ones that are zeros, which helps a little bit. Need a UI tab in the settings? Yeah, we do. I mean, the next big project's actually probably gonna be the stash. The number of vertical rows, the number of rows that can appear in the stash right now being it's like 17, I think. It's an odd number. It's just weird. Getting that to a number that's better divisible by the various sizes of items. So you've got like 1, 2, 3, and 4 height items. And so getting that to be a number that is divisible by all those, I think it's 24 is the first one. Or 12. But that would be silly to reduce it. 24 is too big. So I think the logical place to go is 20. I hope we can do that. Whew. You hurt. Yes, you do. Any reason for not allowing minions? Whatever's over there. What's over there? Die. Any reason for not allowing minions to trigger the new Prime List idol? Would have loved to use it with upheaval totems. I mean, I don't think it logically makes sense. Like, because the totem doesn't have, like, the totem's using, it just doesn't function. Like, this is the complexity issue. So there's, it's the totem that's actually using the ability, and the totem doesn't have storm stacks. You have the storm stacks. Is it even possible? Yeah, it's possible to do. Yeah. That's such a mess. I don't want to give. I don't want to give the upheaval totems the earthquake mutator. I think it may have just been too much of a mess. And the way it's written is it shouldn't work. But I do understand the desire to make it work. There's a lot of things like that where it's like, the play, and it's something we've been trying to definitely improve the reliability of. The like, hey, this would be so cool if it worked. I hope it works. And like having all those things actually do what you hope they would do, not necessarily what you think they should do or what it seems like you should do or what they're written to do, but like what you hope they would do. Improving that rate is something we've been working on a lot lately. So this would fall into that category. It was probably just never. If I had to guess, I don't know. If I had to guess, I think it was probably just never considered, and it just doesn't work as written, so it was never implemented because it was implemented as written. Would be my guess. Do you think the bee queen is performing well or a little weaker than intended? I don't think it's like crazy overpowered, but I do think it is popular, which is a great place for something to be. But I do have, where is it? I got some stats. Good time. This was what I was gonna do last. Let's do it first. So here's some stats. I got 4 of these little cards of different stats for the first week of gameplay. So beekeepers and most idols that people are using, most altars that people are using. Yeah, so if you think people are missing out on things, part of this is it's like it is really early, so part of it may just be the first one that you found that was really good, that like just worked, and you just slapped it in, just kept playing with it. That's kind of what happened to me with this character. I think this is like one of the first ones I found. I'm just like, yeah, just go, it's great, whatever. Like there's probably way better ones. I think mana is pretty nice for me right now. Anyways, I guess I could slam this down at the corner, couldn't I? That might not even be. Oh no! Is that too small to be useful to see? Should I just turn it off? Let me know if I should just turn that off. I do have this that just kind of saved my life, I think. Cyber can read it good enough for me. All right, next question. Do you think... Oh, you did answer it. Hello, I know this is asked frequently, but what is the state of transmogs? I have no update on transmogs for you. I don't know. I'd love to see him. I think especially once you're like getting into some of like the later game gear, it actually looks pretty sweet on its own. I think so. What we've had some feedback that there's very few of the. I think the reason why we're seeing so much interest in transmogs is because the cosmetics that we do have, there's very few of them that are in the like realism realm and the not ultra flashy realm. Like there's a giant purple wings that I'm wearing, you know, flap, but giant purple wings. But like getting these to be like sort of like cool and fantasy realm realistic equipment that you can customize is not something that is available very heavily in the cosmetic options that are available right now. So transmog does that because you can just leave the visuals of actual gear, and the actual gear visuals do look sweet. It's just that they're not customizable right now. You gotta wear what the thing looks like. That was one of the things I always loved about D2 was like when you're making a rune word, like pick it for the strength stat requirement basis. Nah, pick it for how it looks on your character. All right. Jumped. Excuse me there. Considering season 5 is going to rework item factions, is it possible you can make it that when the COF faction and you buy stash tabs that it will contribute to gaining favor and ranking up the faction much faster? Farming favor in COF through killing monsters and finding favor caches feels sluggish. I think very unlikely, just because that is a I think the only way we could do that, it's possible, maybe. It would require so don't count on it, but here's how it would be possible if we were gonna do it. Is that we could if we split the gold from COF and MG completely, it could happen. So if you had like if COF operated on favor coin and Merchant's Guild operated on Bazaar coin, and they had two separate currencies that they operated under, then yes, you could do it, because without doing that, what you could do is you could go to merchant, you could have one awesome item, go to Merchant's Guild, sell that item, get a ton of gold, flip back to COF, take that gold, buy all your stash tabs, insta rank up super high, and you just like the fast track to completing your COF ranks becomes join Merchant's Guild. And that's a mechanic that we really won't do. And if that did happen once, which is why keys are no longer super valuable to sell. And it was the opposite, really. But yeah, whenever the fast track to one becomes join the other, that gets swiftly dealt with. And if we ever see a way that could happen, we don't do it. Well, let's go in here. Why not? I'm definitely enjoying the new season. As far as set items intended to be reforged, it does seem like recent sets have gone against that trend. Yeah, there are new sets that can function at endgame. Yeah. The new Weaver set amulet, for example, very niche set bonus, but its affix loses a very item-defining affix plus skills per 120 attributes. Yes. I think that's probably the best example of a place where it would be advantageous to have that corrupting functionality on. That's probably the poster child for that. Yeah, it's a good point. I don't. Sorry, I may have missed the question, which is fine. That's just a good comment. Cool. Yeah, good comment. Hello. Do you plan to implement Party Finder in season 5? I don't think there's a Party Finder in season 5. It would be really nice though. Good golly, would it ever be nice? Ooh. Not using shields, but whatever. Fine. Will we ever get more difficult campaign option? Hard mode. I don't know. I don't think so. Ever's a long time. It's sort of the will we ever get? Ever's a long time. I haven't said that in a while, but the we used to have it. So we used to have merciless masochist. What do we call it? Someone help me out here. Merciless. Okay, yeah, sweet. We used to have merciless mode. Masochist mode. It began with an M and it was real hard. I think that's what we can agree on here. The point is, we did used to have this, and we removed it in favor of the boots, the veterans boots, which I also aren't a perfect option, I think. But there's the main reason why we did that was to avoid having so many different variants and splits for stashes and what are they called? Ladders. We might have the infrastructure where it's more feasible to have those various splits now, so maybe it's more of an option now than it was before. But I remember back like when I was doing the implementation and UI management for the ladder stuff at the very first version of it, and part of the reason we got lost is because I'm like, I don't know if I can manage this. I think there's good and bad things for having it, for sure. One of the really nice things about the boots is that you can opt into it even later on in the process, where you can say like, okay, well, I'm going to take my character that I've been playing and having fun with it. I'm going to try and do this boss with the veterans boots on, and having that just opt in for a moment option is I think a really positive thing. The fact that it's taking up an item slot is the biggest problem I have with it. But if you haven't given it a shot and you want a challenge for the campaign, strap on those boots. It's a lot harder. I always start leagues with them on, or start a season with them on. I took them off pretty quick this time. I'll be honest. Game off pretty quick. Part of the problem there is I was playing with two of my friends and I didn't want to be holding them back too much. The season is great, awesome, but one change from in patch 1.4.2 is pretty frustrating. Added blocking of movement in full screen panel is open. Added blocking of movement if full screen panel is open. Yeah. What was the reason for this change? I think it was that people were like clicking, or like the full screen panel was open and you were able to like accidentally move your character. And like if you can't see 99% of your screen, controlling your character movement is probably not going to be accurate. Would be my guess. Gloves. I mean, we don't do melee or spell damage. Do we have any idols that we could enchant? They're all corrupted. They're all corrupted all the way down. Figure that out later. Is it possible for you to put on a pause on Nemesis in the future? Is much needed. So right now we do not have the technology to do this. It's something that we've wanted to have for over half a decade now. It's something we've tried to do a few times. I've seen over the years, I've seen a few promising ways to maybe make it work, and I've never brought it up because it's always been like, I've never wanted to get people's hopes up in case like it didn't work out, and none of them have worked out. This is the sort of thing that we really want to do. It's always been like every chance we get, someone's like comes out like, I've got an idea for it, and we're like, great, let's do whatever we can to make it work. It doesn't work. It's really frustrating. There's a Reddit thread that was happening recently, and I went pretty deep on it because people were like, what about this? What about this? And I'm like, we've thought of this. This is the way you exploit it. You know, like there's so many problems with all these workarounds for it as well. I'd really hope that we can just make it function properly. It is something that probably would only ever work if you were alone. Like in multiplayer, it probably couldn't work. There's much less of a problem in multiplayer. And I'm not talking online. Online's the problem. Like offline, we can do it. Offline, we do have pausing. You press escape and it pauses. Offline, we could make it. It doesn't right now, but I think we should. It could make it where if you open up a full screen window, it does pause the game. That is possible. What are we gonna corrupt? Corrupt. I think we're gonna put these in here. Yeah, we're gonna put those in there first. Empower. We also had the relic. I didn't even see the relic was there. I think that's what it was. Was I seeing things? Was there a relic there?
Easy. Too easy.
Okay. No, thank you. Drop something for me? You did. I just have it all filtered out. All right. Thank you for taking our questions. You are welcome. I'm here almost every week. I'm a shut up and take my money person when it comes to MTX. Cool. Are there any plans to, 1, increase the number of available MTX? Yes, we do it every single season. We add new MTX, new cosmetics to the game every single time. Offer a battle pass with MTX. I haven't heard any plans to do this. I don't want to say that we'll never do it, because I do think there are ways to do battle passes that are very positive. Like there's ways to do battle passes that are not so positive. I haven't heard any plans to do it at all. I do think that there is a way to do it really well, and if we were ever to do it, I would really expect us to do it really well. Because there are examples of games out there doing it, and you're like, the people always bring up in chat the examples. I think Helldivers is one of the examples people bring up as being really positive way they do it, but I've never experienced it, so I don't know for sure myself. All right, true endgame bling. True endgame to me is bling. Yes. Is it? Fashion is the true endgame. As an example, last I checked, there are only 2 shields. There's only 2 shields. Really? Would be under armor. Under weapons. Is that a shield? There's a shield. 1. There's a catalyst. It's a catalyst. Dude, let's see the shield. Someone says a second is in a supporter pack. If there's another in a supporter pack, that's 3. I don't know where it is. There may only be 2. Oh, there's the third one. I see the third one. There's 3. We got 3. 3, yes. All right, great. I agree though that is limited. And I do hope that we add more of those. We are adding more every single season. So there's new cosmetics. You can see I'm wearing a bunch of it right now. This guy's animations, the animations for these two pets are, I love it. The first time I saw them, was very pleased. Yeah. And we're going real slow through the end game. Hopefully the me talking is the important part here, not me playing. But I do love getting to play. If you guys want tooltip DPS to be accurate in the first place, wouldn't it be easier just to give dummies a DPS meter? Yeah. I think more accurate would be better to sit and have it be perfectly accurate. The problem with the dummies getting a DPS meter is that that's like a full build DPS analyzing. And this is one of those things we've been really hesitant to give like perfect information on for a full build setup, which I know sounds really weird. Especially in a genre where people like crunching the numbers and like figuring out what the best thing is, having a way to quantifiably say what the best thing is, you know, desirable by a lot of people for sure. There's a little bit of a fear of driving balance changes too much based on strictly the numbers and not enough on feel as well, because how a skill feels and plays and functions and just like how fun it is really important. And having the feedback around like which skills are most powerful, which are most fun, which are most used, boiling down to which one has the biggest number, sometimes isn't the best. Hello, Trov the Crafter. Craft yourself a tombstone. I don't know. All right. I recently discovered the stashes matrix coordinates start from the top left. Why? Cause I'm twisted and evil. I think it's because the inventory starts from the top left, and we did that first. I think that makes a lot of sense to start from the top left, personally. You know, I think it's strictly just how, you know what it is? This is how I organize my inventory in Diablo 2 when I played that, is that I put all my idols on the right, and I would fill from the left. And that's exactly why it's like that, because that's just because I did it the first time, and the default of my brain did that, and every panel since has been that order. That's it, I think. All right, one of my major annoyances, it could start anywhere though. Like it's arbitrary. One of my major annoyances during the campaign is I need to skip mobs due to out leveling. Have you all ever thought about scaling up zone levels? Yes, we have. We actually had a system from our Kickstarter campaign that when we initially sat down and designed out like what are going to be like our end game systems initially at launch, what are going to be our like leveling systems, what are like all the when we first laid out the core design documents for the game, and what systems were going to be involved, we had a system in there. I'm blanking on the name. Someone can remind me in chat what the name is. But it basically had you going back into the campaign with like level scaled zones to go to hunt specific enemies, kind of like a bounty system sort of thing. And so yeah, that's something we've considered from like right from the start, really. one of the things I think I'd really like that. One of the things that's I bring up Diablo 2 a lot in the streams, but recently they had their Reign of the Warlock expansion that basically enabled every zone of the game to be end game playable, because it's different because it doesn't really have a proper end game. So that any zone of the game can be an end game zone. It's fantastic, wonderful, love it. Best change they've ever made. Look at those later. We're in the pick up stuff and figure it out later category now. He remembers me. Oh, how lovely. How lovely to be remembered. Recently introduced option that forces evade to be movement or cursor based is great. Sweet. Can you please extend that option to make it work for effects that replace evade, namely Spirit Step from the ring? Is there a technical challenge for this, or just did not come up during implementation? Probably just didn't come up during implementation. We can change the targeting method. Every ability, evade's an ability. Evade is exactly the same as any ability that goes in your bar. It is just in a different spot in the UI, but it's the same thing. The way the scriptural object's set up the same, the way it creates an ability object is the same, the way it moves you is the same. It's an ability. There's actually 5 of them. There's actually there's 9 of them. Yes, there's 9 of them. There's 9 evade abilities. Because when you have to detect evade on a primalist, you have to detect for the primalist evade and all of the transform evades, and it's really frustrating. What was I saying here then? Yeah, so we can change, and Spirit Step's another just ability. So we can change the way that the targeting methods work for abilities. It's just a list from a drop down essentially. It's blanking on the term for the data structure. It doesn't matter. It's a list from a drop down. Hey Mike, one question I have since beginning of the game: is there plans to buff / change on physical forge? On the physical forge, like make something you can only do at the forge. I understand. I see what you're saying. Not just use the forging potential. I think being able to shatter items without the runes would be a good example. Yeah. Having a way to. This is something we've gone back and forth a ton on. We've discussed this so many times, and ultimately what it always comes down to is if there's some unique functionality that the physical forge has, it incentivizes you taking the stuff in the world and going back to the forge, doing the thing, and then going back out into the world. And especially with the volume of items that drop right now, we don't want to incentivize that. We don't want to incentivize you every mob pack being like, well, it's most advantageous for me to get the resources by cleaning up all these items off the ground, going back to the forge and hammering them all out, and then coming back to play. Like that's a play pattern that we really don't want to have happen, especially in the campaign, because it just breaks up the flow of the gameplay so much. As I sit here and ramble. So that's the core reason why we haven't ever done that. The second half of this is basically a better way to shatter. We've been toying with the whole shattering issue for a while now. This is one of the systems that is like the number of shards that can exist and like shattering to get them was fantastic back when we had a quarter of the number of affixes. With the volume of affixes that we have now, it is not as awesome of a system, and we really want to sort of fundamentally rework how the affix shard and shattering system functions. And if that includes shattering items, still we do still want to have a mass shattering method, by basically where you don't need to go through and individually do them, and you know, like there's a lot of busy work in doing lots of shattering. And I know like you get to the end of a season and you're like, I've got the only things worth shattering are like these 4 item types because I'm looking for these 4 affixes, and I've got 400 runes of shattering and they're just pointless. And like it's a system that works really well in the campaign and as you're leveling, and then you kind of grow out of it as a character. And so we're looking at that system and trying to see if we can have it grow up a little bit as the game's grown up a little bit. And for the record, I'm not talking about changing the way like crafting works in the sense that you can like picking mods to go on items and like the affix slots and things like that functionality we're really pleased with. But it's the how you get the resource to do that is and how you manage the resource to do that is something that we're finding a little bit like we're getting a lot of feedback on it being tedious and like a lot of busy work involved with it, and you know, like the volume of shards that drop and like people asking for filtering those shards out, and like these it's this and that on filtering shards out are sort of 2 symptoms of the same problem, and the requests to solve those individual symptoms with like sort of a band-aid fix, and we'd like to more have a change to the underlying system so we don't need those band-aids. How are we doing for time? We are halfway through. Got a decent queue. I should be showing you more data from the first week. Okay, I'm gonna finish this echo. I'm gonna plop the data thing up on screen. I'm gonna answer some questions. And I've been talking quite a bit this time, which is fantastic. Great questions so far today. Well done. A+ everybody. I can already feel my voice starting to go. I had a week off and I got soft. Oh, good golly. Corridors. We like to see. I wish you could set, and I'm realizing this now as playing this build, is I wish you could set a different ability as like an out of mana fallback or a heavy ability. And it's just like such a one button mentality of like, I want to click to attack. If I've got mana, use the mana ability. If I don't have mana, use the not mana ability. And it's the sort of thing that like, as a proper character build, you wouldn't need to have that distinction happen, but I'm like, just use puncture when I'm out of mana, please. Yeah. Just because I'm lazy. Any plans to make Fire Aura its own skill? Again? That again was me because it used to be. Love the changes made to it this season, but was wondering if there was any plans to do so. Might allow the spell blade tree to get some more defensive love and have more interesting ways to use Fire Aura in general. So Fire Aura used to be a standalone spell, and we broke it out. It was replaced with Flame Ward. I would be shocked if we ever went back on this decision sort of thing and added Fire Aura back into the game. I'm into the as a specializable skill. I'm really pleased with where it's sitting right now in general. It's too numlock friendly is the short answer of why we don't really want to do it. It's just too numlock friendly.
Your reflection trembles.
And like Flame Ward's already basically in that same position now. As we might see, let's take a look at skill popularity for the season. One sec. I don't actually know what's ranked here. Nothing's Flame Ward. I'm gonna look like a fool. Skills. No, I said we're looking at a. Okay, good. Here we go. Yay, proving my point. Flame Ward's already there, doing the same thing. So here's the first 2 characters to reach level 100 in normal and hardcore. Congratulations. Very cool. And the most popular abilities, top 5 used abilities overall for normal and hardcore as well. Softcore, sorry, not normal. My bad. I might need to get another drink, so I'm almost out of this one. Yes, I mean it's not a huge surprise that the like utility abilities that are like generically useful and popular on generically useful on popular classes are the ones that are highest ranked here. Sort of like no matter how you're building a rogue, there's a good chance that smoke bomb's going to be useful. Good chance, not guaranteed, good chance. Do I have terrible timing and Rax is doing something important right now on last Epoch? Sorry. We'll slap this. We'll hide this down there. Oh, he's going to do Uber right now? Rax, wait for me. Don't actually wait. How long can we stand still? Not that long. Game audio desynced on stream. No. How desynced are we? I do that. Is that better? I'm talking now. I can put up my finger, put my finger down. It's not even on screen. I don't know how to fix this. I'm not desynced. The game's desynced? If we do smoke bomb. That's weird. The game's audio is perfect for me. The sync is the simulation is desynced. The sound in game is late. Yeah, it's perfect. How is it? Wild. How is that possible? It's getting worse. Oh no. Is it bad enough that I need to like restart this or something? Oh, it's been that the whole time. Great. I mean, who's really watching the game? All right. Let's turn the game volume down a little bit. I'm gonna keep playing.
The silence waits.
If it's really bothering and distracting, let Kane know in chat, and I will. He'll funnel it to me. Okay. You recently stated that assuming in Season 5, COF prophecies will no longer need to be re-rolled as much. Is there anything more you can share about what changes you guys are considering for the system? Like just ideas you guys have had for it? I don't really want to talk too much about Season 5 in general. I think the key things is we haven't finalized exactly what it's going to be yet. We've got probably 95% of the way there. I would rather talk about it once we've been able to play test it, because we're still in the design phase for it. Like details for it. I think the key thing that we've been looking at, the key like driving feedback that led us to like, hey, let's rework this system, is that we do get so much feedback about the busy work involved with it. The volume of re-rolling, like the system. I think the system works really well. I talk about this like naive approach a lot. I don't know if there's a better term for it or not. If there is, someone let me know. Where like a player comes in and they're just like, I have no idea what the possibilities are. I'm loving my character for the first time. I'm just like seeing what's there, and I'm just picking things that might be good, that might help my character out. Like, oh, this is a weak point in my character right now. Let's pick these things to try and get better spots for it. And like that scenario, I think works really well because you're not hunting a specific prophecy. But because the prophecies that you're looking for are so reward driven, especially because we've given you the tools to basically say like, okay, just something in the monolith. Now I only want these rewards. And because you can narrow it down to like that point, it becomes feasible to then re-roll ad infinitum to get where you have like all the exact same one effectively. That's like the most, that's the min-maxed way to do it. And as soon as the min-maxed way to do it is like really tedious, and the like you see a YouTube guide that says like, this is how you get the most out of it, you're gonna re-roll a ton and it's gonna be super boring, and then that's what's being it creates a scenario where we're just encouraging boring stuff. Ooh, I'll take CDR. I will definitely take CDR on those. Let's do CDR. Yeah. Don't stand in that. We're not in a stand in the fire type build yet. So yeah, I think that the core driving principle behind it is we're looking at players approaching it from a reward first standpoint, and like still having the same core principles about like what the system's trying to do, but having that scale into an end game min-max scenario a lot better, where you're not having to reroll, where you're able to like select what you're looking for, where you're able to like funnel favor into specific item acquisition. Yeah. And having that process progress as you are as you're advancing through the COF item guild, and also item faction, sorry. Woo! Thanks, illusory tree. That's definitely not a decoy model. Wish it was a tree so bad. So bad. If you could have it your way, what game mechanic would you put into the game next season or season or two? For example, I love Blight from PoE1. Tower Defense is awesome. I mean, I'd put PvP in. It's not happening. Just to be clear, that is not happening. I would do it though. I would put like 3v3 PvP. You know, like a simpler mechanic would be like, I think it would have to go with that, would be like interrupts. I really want the ability to like see enemy casting bars and like interrupt them and get triggers based on interrupting things. Something I tried to get added with this system recently, but we didn't have the functionality for it. That's it. I tried to do it twice actually. I forgot that I tried to do it on the first one and then tried to do it for the second one. I tried to do it for shield dash and then forgot I tried to do it for shield dash and tried to do it for snap freeze. Yeah. It's okay, I'll get there one day. Not sure if it's been asked already. If it has, totally fine. I think you guys mentioned somewhere that the reason corrupting set items cannot add corruption exclusive modifiers or regular item modifiers was a technical issue. I don't think, because set items are unique items. Like anything a unique into a set can do too. Like from a technical standpoint. Is there any progress on that? And if that will be solved, will be patched during season 4? I don't think it's a technical issue. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's not a technical issue. haven't been involved in the technical side of item development for a couple years now. But I'm pretty sure set items are still set up the same way we originally set them up. And they're functionally the same as uniques. Like set items, like all the unique items in the game sit in this big list. All the set items are in that same list. And whether or not they're a set item is just a bool. Like it's just a feature, like it's a flag on that on an item in that list, whether it's a set or not. So they're all like the same item type underneath the hood. Hey Mike, looking good, brother. Thank you. How do you feel about introducing a social aspect to the echoes, like maybe something like an echo raid, like an echo jam, where it's 6 to 10 people, and I'd love to. And you run an echo, but it's like an onslaught of enemies, where at the end you're fighting like 2 Ubers, and then after that you get introduced to a raid boss, the raid in quotes. You could have like a roguelite aspect where you choose buffs for the group that would do specific things, also cause negative corruption. I think it would be so much fun. I agree, I think it'd be a lot of fun. We don't have the if you try and stick 6 to 10 people in a single game with all their abilities, stuff's gonna crash. It will not be pretty. And pretty well every like ability and like thing we've set up in the game is done with the understanding of a specific player cap in the game. Where we're like, okay, this ability, like when we're designing an ability, like a node for an ability, where say like, okay, it now copies itself, or it now splits, or now does this or does that. And we're like, what's the absolute mathematical most number of things that could exist on the screen from this ability at once if all players in the party took it simultaneously? And so if we did it at a zone where it was 6 to 10 people that could go there, so many of those abilities would have to just like get their power slashed in half. Because we'd be like, well, the number just doubled, so we're cutting it in half for all of them. So probably not. Yeah, sorry. Can you share anything about what you're currently focused on? I'm sorry, I can't. It's a secret. Not a very well kept secret, but it's a secret. All right. Will we ever be able to apply weapon cosmetics to a non-matching weapon? We kind of have that a little bit, but there's some restrictions there. I'll finish the question, sorry. But still keep the one-handed match requirement or the two-handed match requirement. So there's specific animations for specific abilities, and different weapon types have different animations that go with them. So for example, like Serpent Strike has like a spear like stabbing motion that goes with it, and the so we can't like using a like a hammer in a spear stabbing motion does not make any sense, and it looks janky, like really janky. And so like I don't think, just because of that, I don't think we'll ever see the ability to fully unlock that sort of thing. We did loosen it quite a bit. So I think like swords and axes can be interchangeable now, sort of thing. And like, so we changed it a bit. But not, there's certain ones that will probably never be, just like the tech debt that gets incurred by allowing that is insane. Right. Oh, current restriction groups listed right there. Group 1, one-handed mace, axe, sword, dagger, scepter, and wand. Group 2, two-handed mace, two-handed axe. All their weapon types have their own animation sets and do not share with each other. Yeah, cool. That's a great note. Thanks, Ian. But yes, I should have read that beforehand. And that's basically it. Is that the yeah, there's specific abilities that have specific animations that can't overlap, and we don't have the capacity to expand. I don't know if we ever will. It's pretty hard coded into the way that the abilities are set up. And like hard coded is a bad term to use there. It's not hard coded in the sense of code. So there are situations where animations do change. Like, so I use Serpent Strike as an example, and there's like we could set up a scenario where you can suddenly use a staff, for example, and the animation would change for that. And so like that one's a little easier because it looks so similar, because the visuals for it still make sense for a staff, that you can kind of get away with it. Turn it into a spell. Still no chance on adding an armory system. Lol, I'm interested in 3 builds this season and they're all rogue. Yeah, I think like an armory system would still need to have all of the same like requirements for how fast you could do the changes, how fast you...
So you've become prey.
Oh, I'm doing so bad here. Tragic. I'm like appropriately leveled for this too. I'm actually over leveled for this.
He remembers
Fine.
you.
I should put some gear on. actually look at my gear. An armory system, I think, is something that we would be... this is the Mike gameplay we all know and love. Yeah. This is the... Mike hasn't looked at his gear since like level 20. Like, not quite that bad. 52, 57. Maybe there was some stuff here that I did. Level 12, 14, 58, 48. Okay, you know, there's some stuff there, I guess. We're gonna get those boots, and we're gonna get the we're gonna get those boots, and we're gonna get that relic, and everything's gonna be awesome. And we're gonna corrupt them both, and they're gonna corrupt so well. Like they're gonna do like top tier corruptions, just perfect. No brick. Wait for it. Just gotta find ourselves a nemesis. It's fine. Yeah, armory system. That's what I've been trying to answer. We're not planning an armory system. Yeah, let's see what's cool. Flipped. It rotated. Ah. Step up. Yeah, probably very unlikely on an armory system. You need templating system first, and you still need to pay the prices to switch each time. Is anything going to be done about Omen rewards? I feel like there's very little reason to interact with Omen mechanics at this point, other than corruption runes, trying to farm altars, or Omen idols feels like a major waste of time on COF. Without prophecies or a way to control outcome of drops, there's no legitimate way to farm them for your build. I mean, those are 3 things that are great to farm for? Question mark? Am I crazy? I don't know. I don't know if there's anything going to be changed about it anytime soon. If you'd like to see a change for it, this is something that, like, yeah, put a suggestion, put your feedback in. We've got a channel on our Discord. Go to the feedback section. My advice is to put something in along the lines of, when I get to late game as COF farming Omen windows, it feels useless because I'm not getting meaningful upgrades ever from doing it, sort of thing, or something like that. I can't give you a definitive answer on what's going to happen about changes to that right now. I'm sorry. DLSS/FSR for season 5? Maybe. I don't know. I hope so. Kind of the same answer I gave last season. I love the loot filter setting in LE, and the stash customization is amazing as well. Have you thought about allowing saved presets for stash tabs? Yes, since they require a significant amount of times of investment, like a pre-slotted saved loadout you just unlock each season. Yes. We just had a meeting about this on yesterday or Tuesday. And it's kind of a, what you're describing is basically what a bunch of us are like, yeah, let's do that. And then we're kind of trying to work out the complexity of the backend that's required for it and the complexity of the UI that's required for it. Finding the exact solution is the question mark, not finding if there's going to be a solution. Because yes, it's a problem that will receive a solution. Out of that. Okay. I want this. Yes. And I hear a lizard. Give me that cash, lizard. Good, very good. Wonderful. And we got stuff to clear now. Use our range to our advantage instead of just walking in face first. Answer a question. Run out, unfortunately. Would you consider adding a way to figure out what is the bulk of your damage? Sometimes I have a skill which is proccing another skill which is also applying an ailment. I'm not sure which is doing most of my damage, and therefore I'm unsure what to build towards. Not specific numbers, but maybe percentage of total damage done to the dummy. Yeah. Like, we're getting dangerously close to just a DPS calculator with that. I think the tooltip DPS is supposed to function for this. So, like, taking a look at where the bulk of that damage is coming from the tooltip DPS, and is sort of like what is supposed to be able to give you the general idea on where most of that damage is coming from. I mean, like, I'm trying really hard not to say this for like everything, but like, if there's something you really want to see, drop it in the suggestions channel. We're not gonna die. We are not gonna die. Hey, you might die. You might die. 50-50 here. Maybe we didn't die. What a surprise. All right. Is there a reason Orden's watch is much longer than any other crafting? Echo. No. Not that I know of. Probably just... Oh. Load up the wrong tab here. Probably just... Was... I don't think there's a specific reason why it's much longer than any other crafting echo now. Sorry. Any ideas to craft potions on in the future? On the future. Any ideas to craft potions on the future? Like, so like all of the crafting regarding potions comes from the belt slot. So if there's the like any alterations, we don't have plans to have an actual item slot for the potions that you can pick up and like have like a rare potion slot that will just drop into your potion slot. and have like affixes for the potion slot. This is something that we talked about a long time ago when we were first designing the potion system. That was one of the main options we considered. But like specifically, we decided to have the potion affixes relate to your belt slot because we wanted to have unique things that each item slot in your character sort of represented and like led towards and interacted with for your overall character. Like your weapon slot obviously is primarily your offensive slot, and then like gloves are quite on to do with like speed. There's a lot of speed stuff that's on here, like attack speed, cast speed, there's a lot of like I think recovery speed, things like that are on here, like ability speed things. And then boots are a lot of movement speed things, like defense, cooldown, that sort of stuff that's on there. Belt is very potion forward. Chest is frequently like a big defensive thing. It's health, stuff like that, you know. And there's lots of items that go against those rules for sure. Let's do. I really want a. I need to. Here, we need to. I think I said I would do this and I didn't. Bad mind. Let's take a quick peek at the mastery spread. Let's try and hammer out some questions. Since block is essentially a form of damage mitigation, yeah, a defensive stat, yeah, it naturally makes players want to push towards a block cap, especially in hardcore. But because reaching block cap is basically impossible outside of niche setups or the paladin class, have you considered making block a more accessible defensive option for all classes softcore players won't use? I promise. Hitting a block cap used to be a lot easier. Specifically, Bastion of Honor was basically like slap it on, you're basically block capped. And it was pretty widely regarded as a problem. And we dialed back a lot of the block ability to hit block cap. And like the fact that it is a niche thing that specifically focuses on like there's an identity for the class that can do it, I think is a really positive thing. Like, if someone was asking me to pitch like block cap on like the way that we've got it set up now, I would probably just use this question as like why it should be the way it is now. Personally, sorry. Yeah, I think it's really great the way it is. And like, yeah, kind of with all these questions like this, if you want to see a change, go to the suggestion channel. Hello Mike, congrats on season 4. I'm having a blast. Awesome. Question: what do you think about making T7 available only in empowered monoliths? I'll finish the question here. Or maybe 200 corruption. I feel like keeping power in different tiers would make the game feel more engaging. Maybe having an alert saying affix tier 7 unlocked on reaching that corruption. Yeah. I think that I think this is a very, very, very positive thing. That I've been saying we should do for a while now. I feel like I've mentioned this on stream quite a few times of like that's something we should do sort of thing. I think that there's a really easy way to give the feeling of a more positive and consistent progression flow in character power unlocks as you're advancing through the end game, by putting specific things after certain points of progression of certain achievement levels. I think we need to condense the corruption number at the same time as doing this, because I think it's kind of arbitrary when you have when we're dealing with hundreds and sometimes thousands of corruption to define these breakpoints. So if we were going to do that, I think it would have to coincide with something like that. But yeah, if you want to see, like, even if I'm positive about something, like if someone's suggesting something on stream and I'm like, yeah, I think it's a great idea. If you still want to see it, I still think you should go put it in the suggestions channel, because just because I like it doesn't mean it's going to happen. I love that you have an offline feature, especially in this day of always online games. Planning to keep that for the life of the game? Yeah, that's we're kind of locked into that existing now. It does make things it's tricky having an offline and online coexisting at the same time. Making things work in offline is so much unbelievably easier than making things work in online, that if you're going to do it for online, doing it for offline with the way we've got things set up is almost trivial. And so because now that we've got it split, maintaining the split's not that bad. Like sort of given that the online version is the like assumed to always exist version. Taking it down to offline only would make development so unbelievably easy by comparison. All right. Let me rephrase the question then. This is a repeat. Good. Why can't set items have an ability to get corruption exclusive other than modifiers? On top of that, since they're pretty much only one positive outcome for set items that keeps the item the same in maximizing the rolls of value of a well-rolled set item is very diminished, which is sad. I think it's mostly just a complexity thing. That's what it boils down to. It's the same reason we don't have legendary affixes rolling on them from LP. The short version. It's kind of where it ends. Hello, Mike. Any ideas on how to make minion affixes useful for non-minion characters? The mod pool is full of them, and the item corruption only compounds the issue. This is such a classic style question. This is unbelievably. I don't want to take anything away from the question because it's. I find it really interesting how often this question comes up, and it's like, it's a little bit different each time. It's a little bit. It's phrased a little bit differently. It changes based on what the current mechanics are, but this question boils down to the same thing around minion affixes being too many minion affixes. I see minion affixes all the time, and I hate the minion affixes when I'm not playing a minion character. And I find it so interesting. Because if you look at the actual total number of affixes that are like really useful for your character, and then if you divide all the affixes in the game up into awesome for me, not awesome for me categories, the not awesome for me category is obviously gigantic compared to the awesome for me category, but the not awesome for me category is not overwhelmingly minion affixes in almost every situation. The not awesome for me category is like at most half minion affixes, but you're getting but because they're so clearly zero help that they give compared to just not much help. So say you're playing a full strength character, you couldn't care less about intelligence, and you're just like or you couldn't care less about attunement scaling really at all. You're like I'm full strength, don't care about attunement at all. But then you're like, that attunement technically gives me a tiny little bit of mana. So that attunement that I've got on that item is technically not a completely dead stat, but who cares about that tiny little bit of mana that attunement's giving you really? When you've just got like 2 points at attunement. But that like 5,000% minion damage when you have no minions is doing literally nothing. And so this extreme difference of doing literally nothing and doing almost nothing, I think has, and I have no evidence to back this up, but other than the amount of questions I get relating to this, is that I think that there's some psychological trick that happens where it feels so much worse when it's literally nothing compared to an essentially nothing. And I don't know how to fix that feeling, because I think the item system, the distribution of those affixes is actually really well set up. But yeah, we do get this feedback quite a bit, and I don't think there's a significantly disproportionate number of minion affixes that are actually in the mod pool. But yeah, put your feedback in our feedback channels. I think there's a case to be made from feedback similar to this. I'm not sure it's the right thing to do, but I think there's a case to be made for having class specific and character specific and build specific drops. And that's kind of the thing we try to do with certain things, like with the bonuses you get in the monolith, where you pick drop specific things, where you can like influence your drops, and in COF when you can influence your drops, you're getting that way, and in imprinting systems, so you can influence your drops, you're getting that way, and like so all these little things where you can influence the drops you're getting to sort of filter out the things you don't want quite as much, and bend the gear to the way that you do want it. we try and help with these sorts of things, while still having that exciting moment of like, hey, a random item dropped, is it going to be good or not? So I think there's a case to be made for, hey, let's make it so that, oh, you're playing a mage, you just can't drop minion affixes really anymore. It's like basically impossible because you're playing a mage. And the big problem with that is that suddenly if there's a really popular minion build and people are trying to make money on the bazaar on a mage character, and mages can't get minion affixes, but the best items are selling that have minion affixes, suddenly playing a mage and MG is like super difficult to do because you can't get the items that are really valuable. And we also love the feeling of dropping a sweet item that's completely terrible for your character and being, for all the altaholics among us, hello, getting that item that's like, oh, this dropped, I'm gonna now go make acolyte. Oh, this dropped, I'm now gonna go make a paladin. You know. All right. You said LEO is basically going to be 2.0. I don't remember saying that. Maybe I did. Sorry. I shouldn't have said that. It's going to be a huge update. Hope I didn't say that. Maybe like feel like it, maybe. Feel like okay, so I hope what I said, I don't know exactly what I said, but I hope what I said was that releasing LEO is going to feel like releasing 2.0 to me, in the sense that like it'll be such a big jump. I hope that's what I said. Can you say what you meant by this? That's what if I assume I said that, judging by who it is, I'm sure it's probably a pretty accurate quote. I think it's going to feel a lot like that. I think it's going to feel like just such a big milestone in the game's development process that it's going to feel very similar to releasing 1.0. That's what I meant by it. All right. Have you looked at how Dragonkin the Banished does DPS calculator and the death recap? I haven't, but I've heard very good things about it. The death recap, all of the information that we have from the death that happened is being displayed to the player right now. Like there's nothing, not like, oh, let's hide that information. No, everything that we have, we actually added more information into the death system specifically to be able to add new things. We added more information to the damage system so that we could display more in the death recap. If you could ask the community for one thing, what would it be? I know typically as a dev, it's what can we give you? Just curious what your one ask from the community would be. Oof, I don't know. Cool question. Very cool question. I don't know. I do not have a good answer for that. That's a cool question, though. As soon as there's a bug, hit F8 and record it, or report it immediately. I don't do it on stream because it's kind of boring watching me do bug reports. But as soon as you see a bug, like anything at all, boom, screenshots there. Player data comes in. You get categories. You can leave us like a little note saying what you think it is. Even if it's not a bug or you're unsure it's a bug, like report it. If you're like, I wonder if this is a bug or not, and you're just like, it's not doing what I expect it to do, just bug report it. Like, let us sort out if it's actually a bug. That's my request. She keeps saying that it's easy and it's too easy, and I'm like, I'm barely surviving here. We'll take a look at my gear. We'll do a little gear cleanup off stream. We'll play most of it. I'm gonna try and keep this mostly done on stream character. But we'll do a tidy up, I think. That's gonna hurt. Okay. 13 minutes left, 7 questions in the queue. Like 2 minutes a question, I'm gonna have to talk fast. Earlier you said this idea gets dangerously close to a DPS calculator. Care to elaborate why a DPS calculator would be dangerous? I mean, it's kind of what I was rambling about earlier in the stream already. But I'll give you the brief overview. I think is that I think having the ability to rank the DPS very precisely of builds, it leads to homogenization of builds. I think it leads to like this build does the most DPS in the game. It is the best one, period. Most people will play all of a sudden. And like we already do get a lot of that, but I think it would exacerbate the issue. I think we'd also get very quickly like this build does this much DPS number. It must be buffed. This one does this much number, it must be nerfed. And like so much of the buff and nerf and like what's fun to play and all that sort of stuff is not, it's not entirely just numbers. A lot of it's feel. And I think a lot of it's there. A lot of the reason why we don't want to have that direct number linked to specific builds is a lot, it's in the feel of things. Yeah, have you ever thought about how should builds that stand and apply elements, say flurry and bleed, flurry with bleed, should be balanced regarding survivability, given that the need to stand still and mobs die slower than from hits? Yes. Yeah, we've there's lots of things. I think disintegrate's one that gets looked at a lot for this because it is a standstill and channel ability. And disintegrate's had such a roller coaster of good to terrible to overpowered to unusable to decently okay, that it's difficult to nail down exactly where it fits in that sweet spot. And I know a lot of the design things we've looked at with it recently are like ways to have interesting ways to set up like dealing with having to stand still as a downside. So having to stand still is obviously a huge downside, but dealing with that in a way that's like you can work around it and you can play around it and changing your gameplay structure so that you can still I think it's such a hard question to answer. It's a hard thing to solve in the game too. But yes, it's something we think about quite a bit. I bring up Disintegrate because we were just talking about that one. Okay, I'm not gonna go into that Rift Beast right now, just because we don't have a lot of time left. I really want to get a Nemesis.
You have no chance to stand against us.
Okay, this is bad. This is real bad. It could have been worse. Oh, it's bad. The roller coaster of good bad. Okay.
You have no chance.
A lucky crit, I think. Are you looking at making dodge as viable as block? I mean, specific balancing things, I don't really have much to comment on them, I'm sorry. I think dodge is a lot trickier to level up. Nice. is a lot trickier to set up as a reliable defensive mechanic because dodge actually fully dodges. Like it's so blocks a percentage of the damage, dodge prevents all the damage of that hit. And so if you make dodge reliable, which is when I hear the words dodge and viable, all I hear is the word reliable. And if you make dodge reliable, where you can say like, hey, I'm going to dodge every hit sort of thing, because in order to use dodge as a viable defense, like I'm thinking about hardcore here mostly, is that dodge is chance based, and dodge is fully like it fully removes the damage from that hit. So if that's reliable, if you can guarantee that you're not going to dodge, if you're not going to get hit anymore in the game, then just hits can't kill you. You just never can take damage from a hit again. And like that is suddenly by far the best defensive thing that ever could exist. If you just like can't be hit, right? All you can ever die from is a dodge. And there's no real middle ground there, apart from making dodge not actually remove all the damage, right? Maybe it's a sort of a blow that just like doesn't quite hit you all the way off. It like glances off your armor and like just does partial damage. Maybe there's a way to convert your dodge into that or something. Like, I don't know. It seems crazy, right? Yeah. See, this is a problem we've had to deal with a fair bit with dodge. This is where glancing blow came from, this discussion. There's also the other half of this is Silver Shroud. Oops, don't die, Mike. Okay. Full screen windows need pause. Oh my god. That was close. The other half of this issue where this came from was Silver Shroud. So having a way to use a mechanic to force a guaranteed dodge for an incoming hit is something that we try to solve it from the other end, where it's like you can guarantee a dodge so it's reliable, but you can only do it so often, and you need to use a mechanical system to do it, which is Silver Shroud. So maybe the sources of Silver Shroud aren't available enough. Maybe the sources of Silver Shroud aren't viable enough. I don't know, but again, it can't be a scenario where you can just always have Silver Shroud up for every block or for every hit, because again, then it's not dodge anymore. It's just hit invulnerability. Are there any plans to upgrade the skip mechanic using dungeons, mainly making it more streamlined and logical to get the temporal sanctum without all of the random backtracking? Also, are there any plans to add new dungeons for Act 10 skip? I love making alts, but I hate having to ask for temporal sanctum waypoint taxi. Making waypoints account unlocked instead of character could solve this. Doing the dungeons on your main will unlock it for your alts. Yeah, I think this is definitely a discussion that we have pretty frequently. I think we've been slowly trying to change the way this works. I'm really a big fan of having the flow for a new character work. I'd like to just I think the ideal scenario for this is first time through dungeons doesn't require a key. Like tier 1 dungeons don't require a key, basically in the campaign, and having like double the number of dungeons, so that there's not one path. A lot of them bypass each other's entrances, so you could like pick a certain path through the campaign. We're like, I'm gonna skip this dungeon, I'm gonna do this dungeon, skip this dungeon, do this dungeon. That was sort of the initial plan for dungeons when we made them. Having the proper we're like it's still a ways out, if at all. I want it so bad is having the proper randomization or like procedural generations tech being used for dungeons. I think would make them play just so much better. I think if you get like the ideal solution in my mind is double the dungeons, first runs like tier one no key, double the dungeons, proper procedural generation, and like the system just like functions that way. Like I don't think you need to do anything else out of it. Why was I not shooting at that one? We got 3 minutes. We are not gonna find a nemesis. Did I miss one? Nope. Okay. I think the waypoints unlocking for alt is definitely tricky. I do like having some sort of progression for alts, but in multiplayer, yeah, you can just like ask for someone to warp you there, and it does kind of mean that exists already. And if a system functionally exists already, but is just difficult to do and tedious to do, but what's the point? Okay, a couple minutes left. I didn't do the last. I'm sorry, we've got another stat block here to show off. I think it's a cool one too. We're gonna go overtime. We're gonna go overtime. It's happening. Another question. Could you explain why the Weaver tree don't apply to the cemeteries that the player put on the Echo Web, but apply to the cemeteries that spawn by themselves? I cannot. If you'd asked me if they did, I would have said, yeah, of course they do. Clearly, that would be a wrong answer, though. Okay, got that. Boom, boom. Which one didn't I show? Hey, here we go. This was from the first week. Number of omens shattered. Aberoth, Vision, and Uber Aberoth first kills. Congrats to those people. Well done. Very nice. Very nice. All right. Why does Ellie have weighted item roll ranges instead of pure RNG, especially now that there's another item layer with corrupting it? Ain't that just too much RNG unfavoring the player? Well, it has the exact same average roll as pure RNG. So I don't know if it's unfavoring or not. You more often than not, like you if you have from the if you're coming at it from the standpoint of like near perfect rolls are acceptable and everything else is trash, yes, it is unfavorable. If you're coming at it from a like what's my average roll going to be, it's exactly the same as pure RNG. So I guess it's the lens you're looking at it from. Oh, dang, I forgot a question. I was going to ask why I can't have a corrupted unique in the Weaver tree slots. I think it's just, it's corrupted and thematically it doesn't make sense to put it there. Would be what I would say. And because you only drop corrupted items from specific sources. And there's certain corruptions that it wouldn't really be able to detect what it started out as. I think that's actually the reason. Like the maximized rolls. That's probably it right there. And on that terrible disappointment, it's time to end. thanks for coming out, everybody. I hope you had fun. I know I did. I will be back same time, same place next week. If you are, if you asked a question and I did not answer it, I apologize. It was not intentional. Please head on over to our Discord. We do have a Ask the Devs channel where I do my best to answer most questions. We do have some mods there that answer most of the questions because they can answer them better than I can half the time, and do a great job of it too. But if you have one for me, I can hopefully get to it as soon as possible. Yes, Cyborg, thank you. Great job. That's about it. Yeah, I'll be back playing some more of this. Might tweak my build a bit before we come back next time. But let's go find some. Oh, I still haven't signed in. Oh, okay, I can't do that. Can I do it from here? Yeah, because I think I saw a video from him doing this build. I haven't looked at it yet. Yeah, you can do it from here. Let's go say hi to Lizard. It's been a while. See you, everybody. Have a good one.